What's going on, my people of YouTube? This is your boy Got Maliga. Gone is the chin strap, actually. Forgot to even say something. I'm rocking a beard now. I'm actually pretty confident about it. I know it looks like peach fur still, but it is what it is. But anyways, this is an update video to the video I had posted before about me trashing on a certain importer. And also talking about my Skyline, which is practically totaled. This is kind of an update video. This is another one of those talking videos, so bear this in mind. Just letting you guys know that it's not the car's fault, okay? I've received a lot of messages and a lot of comments constantly telling me it's a 25-year-old car, what else did you expect? I'm honestly tired of hearing that excuse, because here's the situation. I'm gonna link a video in the description. It's another one of Samet's video that he uploaded after I uploaded my video, and it's one of the top importers in the nation, HP Logic, Jack Cecil, basically reinforcing the fact that these importers, they know the history of these cars before they even come to the States. Okay, so there is no excuse whatsoever for somebody, an importer as reputable as this certain company who sold me the car, to not know about all the history of this car and be happy about selling it to one of their customers. I refuse to believe that. Okay, now Jack said so himself that even he's not perfect. He's ordered and sold some cars that were lemons, but he imports them, and he's very clear about this when he says it, with the intentions of giving somebody a project car that knowingly will have some problems in the future, depending on which one it is. Obviously, grade 4s, grade 5s, you won't have that problem as much as grade Rs, but he even said so himself that if you buy a grade R car, expect to, do a lot of work to it. I'm not really mad about the car, and this is going to segue into what actually happened to the car after the fact. But it just kind of reinforces everything that I just said. For you to use an excuse that it's a 25-year-old car, it's a sad excuse, considering it's not even about the car. It's about the business practice. Okay, I was teaching people in that video that there are certain importers out there that just simply cannot be trusted. They don't provide paperwork when you ask them to, and they lie about the car, which clearly is in really bad shape. As I mentioned before, mechanically this car was pretty sound. When I took the engine apart, I'm talking when I took the head apart, when I took the valve train apart, it looked very, very clean. It looked like a car that did have 35,000 original miles. But the thing is, the outside of the car looked like I had 140,000 miles. Could the engine have been swapped? Could the cluster have been swapped? Absolutely. Is there any proof of that? No, unfortunately there isn't. And I have just to learn to live with that. And it's cool. I mean, I've spent a lot of money getting this car running like it is today, and as I mentioned before, it's running better than when I bought it. Happening even after I upgraded the turbo, after I upgraded the fuel pump, after I did upgrades, performance upgrades to this car, and it's running better than it did when it was stock. I'm not knocking the car. I love the car, okay? I do not regret buying it because it is a lesson. It is a learning lesson. It's taught me about a platform, and this is the whole intention of me buying this car. It's taught me about a completely different platform that honestly, it's money well invested. It makes more power than my Civic, and I only spent, I don't know, the turbo was $175, fuel pump was $90. That's pretty much it. And then anything else after that, front mount intercooler, all that stuff, it's only a couple $100. If I want to make power on my Civic, I have to spend about 4 or 5 grand into it. Okay, so it just kind of reinforces that fact that I love this car simply because of the platform. I love it. I love it as a platform. Now, let's segue into what I want to talk about today. I broke the damn car again. It's become this kind of cycle. I have the car running for like a few months and then it breaks again. It's inevitable with these older Nissans, and this is actually a very common problem with any RB engine with hydraulic lifters. And I'm sure you guys know that I did a lifter job on this car once before. A lifter failed. I gotta say that it was my fault. I'm not putting any blame on the car. I'm not putting any blame on the company that sold me the lifters. Even though they were kind of secondhand, they're not Nissan OEM lifters, but they worked. They withstood a bunch of abuse at H2O. They withstood a bunch of abuse a couple of days ago, and they only went out after I was basically done. Like, I mean, it was inevitable. It was bound to happen, and they are hydraulic lifters and can't withstand high RPM. So I do want to also talk about the future plans for this car amidst this whole pandemic, which has made everything super, super difficult. But first of all, let me show you what this car sounds like, because it sounds like a ticking time bomb. What you hear, if you can hear me, is not rod knock, it's lifter tick. One of the lifters on the car failed. Now this is pretty bad. I mean, I honestly thought it was rod knock. It scared the crap out of me after I was done doing my shenanigans. But it's a lifter. I've done this job before. It's not, you know, it's not anything difficult to do. It's just very tedious. But let me turn the car off before I make this worse. So, as you can clearly hear, one of the hydraulic lifters completely failed. So, I have to, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to reach out to the company that sold me the lifters to see if there's any kind of like warranty on them. Now, if there's a warranty on the lifters, great. But I'm also not against paying $200 for a new set of lifters and just toss them on the car. It's not a hard job. I've taken apart the top end of this car so many times that it's kind of like, it's just another day at the office for me. But another thing, so this is going to segue into my third part of this video, future plans amongst this whole pandemic. So this pandemic has slowed down production of anything going on this channel, like significantly. Mainly because of the reason I got laid off of my original job, so unfortunately financially I've only been able to keep up with just general maintenance and also bills and things like that. So I'm honestly considering myself very lucky, because a lot of people aren't as fortunate as I am to be in this position. But we're actually going to de-GTR most of the car. I'm not talking about body panels. The reason, like the 50% of the reason why I bought this car was because it already had the hood, the grille, and the wing. Because even if I were to buy an R32 GTST completely stock, that was the first thing I was going to do, is put a GTR hood, grille, and wing on it. And this car already came with it. I'm not really bothered by it. But here's some of the things that I'm going to be replacing. So I have this R32 GTR seat. I really don't like it. It's not comfortable for a person with a pretty big body like myself. So I will be taking those out. I actually have contacted somebody on the Skyline forums, and they're actually going to sell me a pair of stock GTST seats. For the time being, I'm actually putting Recaros in this thing, or putting something similar to Recaros in this thing. But like I said, financially it's just not allowing me to do that, and I kind of want comfortable seats in this car. This GTR seat's rather uncomfortable, so I'm going to get rid of it. If you're interested in buying just the driver's seat, it is for sale. I am not shipping it. You can come and pick it up if you want. Located in the Southern Maryland area. So if you want to pick this up, just hit me up on Instagram, and it's for sale. The only thing that's wrong with it is that it's faded, obviously, and it's got this hole right here from constantly getting in and out. I'm pretty sure you S13 drift nuts don't really care about that, but there you go. There's a R32 GTR driver seat for an R32 in case you want it. If it doesn't sell, I'm just going to throw it away. There's no point in keeping it. I'm also going to be getting a new steering wheel. That's going to be coming after I do a hike delete on the car, which is obviously going to happen later this year. Another thing that kind of annoyed me when I bought the car is that I had GTR pedals. This doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I hate, if it's one of the things I really hate is, like, for example, when somebody puts an SI badge on a non-SI car. It's my biggest pet peeve, and if this car came with GTR badging, that would be the first thing that I would have ripped off, and the pedals have got to go. I'm actually sick and tired of looking at them. I got this, I looked online. I'm going to turn the camera around here. I looked online, and my boy who had the right-hand drive Supra had these pedals in them. They were Sparco pedals. I really like the way they look, so I'm going to be throwing those Sparco pedals on the car. They're actually pretty cheap. They're relatively cheap. So, and then that leads me to my next few things on the list to get done on this car. The front bumper, that's literally the next thing on the list. That's going to be one of the first things that I'm going to get fixed. So let me actually explain to you guys what happened, that why my front bumper looks this way, because I'm pretty sure I never told you guys about it. So as you can see here on the bottom of the bumper, it's all messed up on both sides. You can see what's sitting behind me, right? So this thing was carrying this thing at some point in its life. Now, the reason why this happened is because when I was doing the turbo swap and I had broken an exhaust manifold stud, I was like, hey, I'm going to actually have the car towed over to the shop and have them take care of it. They couldn't take care of it. I had to take the whole head apart, and you guys know what happens after that. So in order for me to get the car from the shop, I couldn't have it towed, so I had to grab the dolly, the truck, and then unfortunately, amongst the transportation, it nicked the bottom of the bumper and completely screwed up the paint. Did it upset me? Absolutely, but these things happen, and I'm actually going to be switching it up. So I've seen online on these forums that R32 Skyline owners have been putting Integra type R lips, and they actually wrap over what's actually scratched. So I'm actually going to lean towards that route, considering the fact I'm also going to be putting the Type M pods, which is up there, and stuff on the car. And I'm also going to be painting I'm going to be painting them to color match the car. Another thing on the list, this corner light here is bound to fall off at some point. You can see it's really loose, so I'm going to need to fix that. But that's pretty much it. I wanted to give you guys a quick update on the car. And what I'm going to be doing when I fix this car, I'm going to be recording it this time. I'm not afraid to switch up the entire content of this channel. I want to thank you guys all for the support. I've received major support because of my last video, mainly because nobody really has the balls to stand up against these importing companies because of their reputation. I think that's BS. If you're running a legit business, you have all the receipts to back it up. You know what I'm saying? You're bound to get support from that. And I appreciate the kind of support that I'm getting from everybody locally. I'm getting a lot of support locally. I'm getting a lot of support online. And a lot of people have told me, it's like, dude, I was going to buy a car from them, but after I saw your video, you know, I'm not. And that's good, because I want to keep people as far away from them as possible, because God forbid somebody buys a car from them that's in the exact same shape as mine. Their whole JDM car dream is completely ruined simply because somebody just wasn't transparent enough to show them the history of the car. So thank you guys for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This has been your boy God Maliga. You can support me on Instagram. That's going to be down in the description below. You can follow me there. I post a lot of things on there, mainly updating more than I do here on YouTube. So if you guys want to keep up to date with my shenanigans, you can follow me on there. But this has been your boy God Maliga, and I'm out. Peace.